One of the things that I like to tell people is that when I was, after I was diagnosed with cancer and after I was done, I didn't want to talk about cancer anymore. In fact, I tried to pretend like I never had it. Right.
Yeah.
So I just jumped out of cancer treatment and tried to jump back into my old life that I had. I went back into teaching. I didn't talk about cancer. I remember going to a cancer 5K, right? Not because I was a survivor, but because my friends were doing it. And I remember going to this cancer 5K, and then that gal that I talked to you about, the volunteer that was a sorority sister, she was a pledge, who was a survivor. She was there that day, and she goes, "Come on, let's go take the survivor picture." I'm like, you know what? I'm good.
Yeah.
I don't need to. I didn't, and I didn't want to talk about it. And then, it's because I didn't deal with it. I didn't deal with it mentally. I was just trying to get past it and pretend like it never happened. And the fact of the matter is, it changed me and it changed my life. And I remember one day I was teaching 7th grade, and it kind of hit me, because I hadn't dealt with it. It hit me like, a ton of bricks. And I was crying in my classroom, and I didn't know I couldn't really figure out what it was, but it was because I had never dealt with it. And I, I was trying to fit back into this box that wasn't really me anymore.
Mm.
So I ended up going to see a therapist. I went and saw a psychiatrist who was, very helpful. I tried to go to, a couple of support groups that it wasn't really for me. Everybody finds their own thing that's going to help them. And support groups are great for people that really enjoy them. But, I did see a therapist. I saw a counselor, and all different people, and a psychiatrist. And it just really helped me in kind of finding my own way to deal with that anxiety. And one of the things that I tell people all the time that are diagnosed, or one of the things that helped me was, I was angry. I was upset that I got cancer. And, you think to yourself, what did I do wrong in my life that made this diagnosis happen to me? And, I was very spiritual and very religious back then. And I remember being very angry at God, and having him give me this burden. So one thing that helped me was I would go for 1 hour a day. It was from 2 to 3. And I would lock myself in the room, and I would scream and I would cry, and I would do it for an hour every single day. And then I would, every other day, the rest of the 23 hours were devoted to healing and getting better. But that hour was reserved for that. And I would hold on to that, because the reality is, if you're upset and you're sad all day, you're going to be upset and sad all day. Right. If you allow yourself to be upset, if you allow yourself to be sad all day, it's very easy to fall in that depression. And I wouldn't allow myself to do it until 2 p.m. from 2 to 3 p.m. And at 3 p.m. I was done. It was time to go live life. It was time to get better. And some days, most days I would be able to make it to that next day at 2 p.m. But some days I'd have to start earlier. I guess I'm starting at from 1 to 2 today.
Right.
And then that gradually helped me get better. That hour went to 45 minutes and to 30 minutes. And then eventually I didn't need it anymore.
Did that anger come from a place of just like, was it more in this aspect of being mad at, or God, or perhaps like mad at the fact that you lost time, or mad at the fact this is just happening to you? Or was it something else perhaps that you had to kind of overcome and deal with? Or was it just mad at yourself for not just experiencing the whole thing together? Because it seemed like you were not naive, but you kind of were, you didn't really think about cancer when you had it. You're like, I'm just going to do this. I'm just going to take the steps to do what I need to do. And although you didn't do it, it seemed like it helped you during that time. And so I guess, was the anger more of just not embracing the moment, or maybe lost time? I guess where did this anger come from?
The anger was one from the diagnosis, right? From having to waste a year of my life, 26 years old, you're still out, having having a good time, right? You're at the bars, you're hanging out with your friends, and part of it was that, and part of it was the fact that I wasn't able to have children.